Hi, I'm going to give you a little bit of instruction for this week's poem, which is Silver by Walter de la Mare. It's a poem that I remember reading in my freshman year of high school, and it's one of those poems that made me fall in love with poetry. There's a certain magic to it. But your instructions are pretty similar to last time, although slightly different. Again, you're going to read the poem. I put it on page 2 this time just because I don't know, makes this easier for me to read. I'll make a copy of this for everyone like last week. So you read it, you watch the accompanying video, you're doing that right now, and then you answer the following questions. There's 4 this time. Your answers, of course, you want to use proper grammar and spelling, use sophisticated word choice and sentence variety, and finally, be thoughtful and not silly. Your answers must total at least 100 words. That's more than last time. I think last time it was 75. Let's read the poem. It's about night, it's about moonlight. Silver by Walter de la Mare. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. Shoon, by the way, is shoes. This way and that she peers and sees silver fruit upon silver trees. One by one the casements or windows catch her beams beneath the silvery thatch. Couched in his kennel like a log, with paws of silver sleeps the dog. From their shadowy coat the white breasts peep, of doves in a silver-feathered sleep. A harvest mouse goes scampering by, with silver claws and silver eye, and moveless fish in the water gleam by silver reeds in a silver stream. Love this poem. Our cross-curricular topic is the moon, so I thought this would be appropriate, but I just feel like imagery-wise, this is a magical poem. When you think of the general mood or tone, I think it establishes it's just kind of the stillness of night, and there's just so much going on in this poem. Like this is a true work of art here. Maybe you don't see it immediately, but let's talk about some of the elements in here. Of course, there's rhyme. Yes, that's the first thing kids seem to look for in a poem. You got moon, shoon, seas, trees, catch, thatch, dog, log, peep, sleep, by, eye, gleam, stream. So it's kind of an AABB rhyme scheme. It's kind of like it's just a bunch of couplets. A couplet is a group of 2 lines in a poem. I think it's 14 lines long, which sonnets are 14 lines long, so it kind of has the appearance of a sonnet, I suppose. But maybe in addition to the rhyme, another thing that jumps out right away is the repetition of the word silver. I mean, how many times does the poet use the word silver? Silver shoon, silver fruit, silver trees, silver thatch, silver sleeps, silver feathered sleep, silver claws, silver eye, silver reeds, silver stream. So, I mean, almost at least, I don't know, 9, 10 times there. That repetition really enforces the imagery that the author is trying to portray, and also I can think it kind of adds to the sound of the poem. There's definitely alliteration, and in addition to the word silver, there's also other S words. There's words that begin with S. There's words that end with S, and so the sound of S is just all over this poem. And when you think of the sound, maybe I'm going on a limb, but that's kind of a silent sound, like it kind of puts you to sleep, like it's something that shushes you a little bit. And I think that's what he's going for anyway. That the moon is, or that the nighttime is a very silent, cool time here. Slowly, silently, shoon, kind of an old world way of saying shoes, or she has shoes on. Peers, sees. Then here's some alliteration that doesn't have the S sound. Casements, catch. And then there's couched in his kennel. So there's a k thing going on there. Thatch is another word for roof. Sleeps, white breasts. There's kind of an S thing going on there. Of doves and the silvery feathers sleep. Scampering. moveless fish, reeds, streams. So there's tons of S sounds going on. And I think it adds to the entire mood of the poem. There's some great imagery happening here. And I feel like every single couplet has kind of its own thing going on. So there's a lot of action in the poem. The author takes us a lot of places. First up, um, what's it talking about her? Who's her? I think it's the moon, which is an example of personification. That's right. So the moon is this woman walking around in silver shoes. And in this couplet, we see silver trees, silver fruit on silver trees. Of course, the fruit's not silver, it's just the moonlight is casting it in the silver glow. And here we have a house, the moonlight on a house, on the windows and the roof there. And then through the window, the moonlight catches this dog, and then we have birds in the trees, and then we have mice in the field, and then we have fish in the stream. So it's just this moonlight is just everywhere. It's this quiet, mysterious woman walking through the night, and it just casts this silent silver aura on anything, on everything. And you also got some rhythm happening in the poem here. I'll just do a few lines, but you'll pick up on it. I think it's kind of an unstressed, stressed rhythm. Or maybe it's stressed, unstressed. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. This way and that she peers and sees silver fruit on silver trees. One by one the casements catch her beams beneath the silvery thatch, and that carries through the entire poem. So that I say this is a work of art. It's just it's 14 lines, but there's so much going on. Every line is carefully crafted. Every idea is succinctly stated in there. Here are some questions you have to answer. Hey, we went over a lot of this. What poetic devices are used here? Tell me a little bit about them. I think there's at least 6 separate images described in the poem. Name at least 3. What would you say the overall tone or mood of the poem is? Well, it's kind of up to you, but is there anything in the poem that leads you to have a certain impression of the poem's tone or mood? And then finally, this one you kind of have to go out on a limb and be creative. So says De la Mare uses silver to describe the moon and its light. If someone wanted to mimic his poem, what colors might someone choose to describe other elements of nature or seasons or holidays? So, De la Mare is a British poet. I think from the latter part of the 1800s, early part of the 1900s. He has, I'm going to do the moon and moonlight. I'm using silver. Well, if you wanted to kind of do the same thing that he was doing, like say you wanted to write a poem about fall, what color would you choose? Or say you wanted to write a poem about spring, what color would you choose? Or say you wanted to write a poem about, Christmas, what color would you choose? So see if you can come up with some answers there. And that's the poem, Walter de la Mare. I also am going to attach this website, which I've never been to this website, Allocation, but it has an extensive description of the poet, the poem. It goes through it couplet by couplet in terms of what's going on in the poem. And I like this website because the author says this: Walter de la Mare Silver is the poem that is responsible for getting me hooked on poetry in high school. And the same is true for me. And then I'll just go ahead and attach a YouTube video of, I don't know if it's him reading the poem, but it's just another reading of the poem. So I hope you enjoy the poem. And if you want extra credit, like I'll give you a full ebook. Be quiet. I'll give you a full ebook if you take the idea from question number 4, like using a color and then some element of nature or holiday or season, and actually write a poem. That would be pretty cool. You can put it on a kid blog. All right. Have a great week, kids.